Alright, Andre. Uh, let's do the research project. This is now my second time doing this video because apparently I'm stupid. But anyways, let's move on from there. So we have the AI class diagram here. I'm not going to do the class diagram because my research project was the full game. So we are talking about a lot of classes to go through. So I'm going to do the AI because AI was also, it was like part of it. It wasn't like a huge part of it, mostly the research for the game. But anyways, I created my AI to be similar to Updatable, so that way now you have to register in there. And my thought process and reasoning for it was, so how I wanted my game set up was if the user chose angel, they face the demon, and if the user chose demon, they would face the angel. So that way, when the user created one specific angel, they could have a separate update and AI update. So that way, they could separate the two. So in the update, they wouldn't have to, either have the key press or they would have to have the AI in there. So that was my thought process for it. In terms of the AI manager, it's set up the same way as the updatable manager. Just cycle through the storage list, all, all that great stuff. And then here we have the state machine. The state machine passes in the game object that the state machine is going to utilize, and then we reuse the different behaviors. I have 4 of them in here. So we reuse the behaviors because we don't want to constantly be calling new when we set a current one. So that allows for that. And then in here we run the update, and this is what is constantly called every frame. And we run execute on it, and then the execute will then jump into whatever state the user has currently set. So let's say they have seek behavior set, for instance, right now. They will jump into the seek behavior of the user defined function. Where seek. So seek behavior right here. The user overrides it, so that way the user can then create the AI how he sees fit and not be stuck to the way the engine has it in there already. Alright, and then the only other difference, or the only other different one I had was path following. And the reason why path following is different is because you're following a specific path. You're not necessarily going based on something else. So for instance, like flee, you're running away from the player. Seek, you're running towards the player. Wander, you're just going aimlessly around. Path following, you actually have to have data set within there to allow for it. So for mine, I just created a linked list of vectors in essence, and I kept a current point to the current vector that the user is going towards. And then I have some accessor functions like the get current point vect, which returns the vector that the user is currently going towards, or the game object is currently going towards. The get next point allows for the user, once they get to where they want to be, they go to the next point, so that way it allows for them to keep going. Lastly, this is a circular one, so once you get to the end of it, you will go all the way back to the beginning and then cycle back through continuously that way, rather than getting to the end, turning around, and coming back. So, and I do have some different ones in here. For instance, my boss, Devil Man, does path following, which I will show you. But let's jump into the game now. So the game is being read in through wave data, similar to how we had in Centipede. As you can see here, it gets read in from the text file, and then from the text from the wave data, then I initialize the proper objects, whatever's needed in there, power-ups, environment spawners, then the actual enemies themselves and all that good stuff. And then the game manager takes care of the actual who knew. It takes care of managing the game. So for instance, if a player dies, it takes care of the player dying. Once you have no more lives, it then sets the next scene to be game over. Stuff like that is what the game manager does. So let's just jump right in here. I have 4 enemies, 4 regular enemies, and then 1 boss man, so I got 5 total. So I don't have the sprite font factory fancy stuff working, so I just took this and I created one and then brought it in as a sprite image. But then I got some randomized gameplay going on in the background. But then we just jump in. You can go ahead and hit A, and you just jump right in. So as you can see here, I got some models going in there. Then I got the enemy right here. Let's go ahead and kill him. I do have all the collisions on as well still. So another thing I have in here is I have some, it's not deformity, but like it's some form of deformity. If you shoot a rock, the rock actually gets smaller, as you can see there. The other thing you'll notice too is as I go through this, each individual level will have a different enemy in there too. I apologize for that motorcycle going by, as I am trying to do my final. He needs to be a little more courteous to me. But then we have the centaur dude, as you can see here. I shot him. Then this guy here is the most powerful. I thought of him as like the commander to the devil dude. So I'm trying to get him to shoot me because I want to. Come on. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Alright, he shot me. Thank God. So now you can see here I have the power up for... It's a Dogecoin. Mainly, I honestly got it because it says D on it, so I thought D for defense. Because it brings back a piece of armor back to the player as well. So, and then we move on to the final level. As you can see here, back there, the Slender Man. I'm going to make him a little bit bigger, I think. But the Slender Man is just roaming around path following, and he is actually guarding something. It's just something you can't see. Once you kill him, or you kill everyone in this level, in whatever order, a gate will appear, and once you go through the gate, it'll pop up and say that you win, because basically then you've taken the gate, hence the term, or hence the title of the game. So let's come in here, let's fight him. Got him. And then as you can see here, now the gate has appeared, and then there's the speed burst. The speed burst model is just a jet engine. I did the best I could with models. So then we will run into here, and floop. And then it just pops up with a screen saying you win. After 5 seconds, it'll trigger back out to the main menu, and you can instantly jump right back in again and play if you want to. So yeah, the model that I am using for the player, by the way, you're gonna love it. It's a floating picture of Jesus. It's pretty awesome. It's pristine. It's the best of the best. I couldn't find an angel anywhere. I tried looking for it, and I just couldn't do it. The other thing you notice too is you'll probably sitting there like, oh, well, that looks kind of easy. Well, I just made it easy just for the sake of this demo, because I know you don't want to sit here for an hour trying to play the game. But for me, I would make it really, really hard. I wanted to make it really hard, kind of like a Dark Souls-y kind of game, because I really like those super challenging games. So that was my thought process. Now, the other thing I do have in here as well, you just couldn't see it because I don't have the sprites working and all that, is I do have a score manager. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Yep, you can see I have the current score here. So I do have a score manager in there. It's just not displayed because of the fonts. I believe it be in level management. Yep. So as you can see, you'll jump into here. You just add the score, whatever score is needed, and it's set up in a singleton as well. And then we have the HUD here, which you saw the HUD. You just create a new image for lightning, and then basically you are pushing and popping off of a list in order to put on and take off from there. So, I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you about with this. That's old code. Player manager, power-ups. I do have an extra power-up that I was wanting to do, which is the... Sorry about that, Andre. My mic went out in the middle of me talking. But basically, I wanted a damage power-up. So basically, when the when the player shoots, that bullet that they're shooting will have increased damage. I wanted to do that, however, I basically just didn't have time because, you know, I fell behind pretty hard, so I wanted to make sure I had more of a full-fledged game going before I got into that. But like I said, I do have the two power-ups working well. The damage one I wanted to get in there. You'll read all about the stuff I didn't get a chance to get done. And then other things that I actually was very happy that I did get done too. The last thing I want to show you is I did not have the boxes on, obviously, but I do have all the collisions set in every single level. As you can see here, just every single level I do have them set in there. Just obviously when you have a game, I don't think people want to be looking at boxes all over the screen. So let me see if I got anything else here. Full class diagram, internal systems and what decisions compromise you made, flexibility and performance of all the features, make sure all edge cases, user error, are caught in a meaningful way. Discuss what didn't make them and why. So the self-reflection, obviously I'll turn in tonight with the whole thing. But what didn't make the final cut, and I'm disappointed in not getting it, is the second half of, or the other part levels where the user chooses to play the demon and then they fight the angels. I was having huge issues with the heap, actually, with heap corruption when I would read in the wave data for the demon, and I really didn't understand it, and it's a really hard thing to debug, obviously, because when you get that error, you don't really get much in terms of like what's going wrong. I'll just run it and I'll show you. Then maybe Tuesday we could talk about it. So, yeah. Of course, now it probably won't even. Yeah. See, I'm getting errors like this guy here. Yeah, this is the error I was getting the whole entire time. The critical error detected. But yeah, I'm upset with that, but it is what it is. That's why instead of trying to force the issue within the last 2 weeks, because this actually happened within the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and it was working fine before that, and I couldn't figure out what I did to change it. So instead, I just decided to make more levels on the angel side and include like 2 or 3 extra, or 2 extra enemies on the demon side then too, to give more variety. So, but yeah, you'll see the game, you'll be able to play it. All the stuff is done through the Wave Manager, so if you want to make it harder, you can jump right on in here, edit anything you want to. You can put more rocks up there. The num gates I should take out of there. That's not part of anything. That will only, the number of gates, or the gate will only pop up once you beat the very last level. You can edit the number of lives. You do get the set number of lives per level, which is why I wanted to make it very hard each level. But yeah, you can do the power-ups. You can do all that through the wave data. But yeah, I think this is the end of an era for us, Andre. So I will see you Tuesday.